This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Two rounds have passed, both filled to the brim with excitement. Last week we saw 4 cars being in the hunt for a win in England. Mick Clatch, though, was able to fend off all attacks and finally was victorious in this young season. Today we're the home of sports car racing. It's the circuit, the Vanguard du Mans. Will be another one of these top 4 dogs have a win in the series? Or will a wild dog appear out of the dark? Find out now as we get ready to watch round 3 of the Grand Prix Legends series here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing Esports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Ryan Walker joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director Sean Rex Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. But before we go into greater detail with today's race, let's head down to the track and take a lap around the French countryside in our GSRC lap guide.
Alright, we're in the GSRC Lotus 49, so let's do a lap around Le Mans. On the front stretch, you'll get a fair bit of momentum going, which means the Dunlop curve won't be flat out. Especially with the 49's lack of grip, you gotta try your best to tuck the car over to the right side of the track, which means you might get surprised by drivers sending a sneak attack up the inside into the Dunlop chicane. The tough thing for them will be getting the car both turned in and gunned off the corner quickly. You might be able to get them back accelerating under the Dunlop bridge. But the Chapel rundown is also not able to be taken flat out, so watch your line. In the Forest S's, it's important to try to keep the car tight to the apex. And then, coming off the right-hander, be careful with the gas as there's a big crest ready to send the car looping. Then, it's a short squirt on the power before one of the most important corners of the track. The exit of Tertre Rouge can make or break your lap time. Being confident with your right foot will be critical. The very tricky Mulsanne corner will catch many drivers out with its kinked braking zone. It'll certainly be a balancing act. Not just the car itself, but how much time you can gain braking deeper versus being planted for a good run off the corner. Because once again, we've got a long stretch where every bit of speed counts. Now, in most cars, Golf Corner and No Name Corner mean nothing, but with the 49 bouncing its way along with almost no downforce, they become very tricky. You've got to straighten them out as much as possible and try to avoid going through too wide. Then, you've got to set up for Indianapolis, which once again provides an incredible challenge with its kinked entry. Make sure you're able to hold to the right so that you can take as much advantage as possible from the banking on the left-hander. From there, you'll need to switch sides quickly for the best line into Arnage. This is one of the slowest corners on the track, and the wall to the outside provides little room for error as you accelerate. From out of there, the run to the Porsche curves is similar to the run up to Indianapolis. The kinks would be no problem in other vehicles, but in the 49, they're pretty hairy. Especially the braking for the Porsche corner. If you stay flat out, the car likes to jump out from under you. As you woe it up, the important thing here is to set up for each subsequent corner. The bridge curves are probably the most dangerous with that big blue wall ready to punish the greedy. Into the karting S's, things really begin to slow down even more. At this point, it's extremely important to stay tucked to the inside because you can get a slowdown penalty for going wide at the left-hander. Once again, Maison Blanche is no problem for modern cars, but requires a lift in the Lotus. Then comes the Ford chicane, in which the first left-right is surprisingly rapid. Just try not to get greedy because you need the car to be stable to slow up for the second half. The curbs are much taller here, but you can get pretty aggressive with them. Just make sure you can get to the power smoothly for the front stretch. And as you cross the line, you've now finished a lap around Le Mans.
Le Mans. But now, Ryan, what else can you tell us about this beautiful circuit?
So some track details about this wonderful track. It is 8.43 miles in length, or 13.56 kilometres if you prefer to use that. Has an amazing 31 turns, and is located close to the town of LeMans. And yeah, it's just some of the details about the track. And over to you, Stefan, for the F1 Championship standings.
Yeah, exactly, Ryan. The F1 Championship, after just 2 rounds that we have previously, we still have Ove Tringrid in the lead of that championship, ahead of Mick Claridge, who brought down that point gap to just 8 points with his win last week. Roman Pawlowski just 10 points behind, with Olenik 24 points in pursuit, 4th place there. And Sarthe already dropped off quite a bit in both races thus far. He, with 2 5th place, if I remember correctly, sits in 5th place, 65 points to his name. Ryan, how are we looking at the F2 Championship?
So in the F2 Championship, Bill Tyler currently leads those standings with 45 points, closely followed by Matt Yeomans in 2nd place with 34 points. Rounding out the top 3 is Antonio Rios with 28 points, and behind them, joint in 4th place, is Andres Bruno and Colin Bentley on 26 points. And for the Nations Cup, Stefan, take it away.
Yeah, Nations Cup, that is pretty much your manufacturer's standings of the current F1 Championship. But back then they have used the Nations Cup, thus these guys also use the Nations. And there we have no surprise whatsoever. Norway in the lead with Ove Tringrid scoring all points there. UK, 2nd place for them, 87 points. Germany just 2 points behind the UK with 85. Then we have the US of A, 77 points to them, so fairly close, up at the top, 18 points between the top 4. And then we have France only with 36 points. That is obviously because no Michel Dudignon thus far in this season. Speaking about this season, Ryan, how are we looking at the race details?
So the race details for today, this is round 3 of 12. The race length for this race will be 10 laps, and the setup will be open with a lot more tweaks that you can make to the setup than expected, considering it's an old car. But yeah, nevertheless, more tweaks to make if you want. The incident limit as is follows: you get 17. If you get to 17x, that results in a drive-through penalty. And if you get to 25, that will result in a disqualification. So, yeah, that's your race details for this race.
You really don't want to get up to 25. I think this is going to be much likely well below the 17 incident mark. As always, though, a quick reminder that you're watching this broadcast on the iRacing Esports Network. Make sure to like it, especially subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You'll know if you haven't, as that button down there will still be right red. In the meantime, qualifying is going in the background, and we have a quick returner of Michel Dudignon, the Frenchman, in 1st place right now, just ahead of Roman Pawlowski and Rob Olenik. Only 3/10 between those two, and then it's about a 1.8 second drop off to 4th place Marco Kika. And before we really get into the mix of this qualifying, we have a little message from your Grand Prix Elections community, as they would like to kindly ask you, the Lotus 49 fans, for a donation into their broadcast fund. If you'd like to find out more about these donations or their broadcast fund, please have a look into the description of this broadcast. Every dollar counts. The Lotus 49 community thanks you. Right now, watching Michel Dudignon his way on the 2nd lap of his qualifying attempt. Right now, going down the Mulsanne hump. Brakes for the Mulsanne corner. Very long braking zone for these guys, about 300 meters out from the Mulsanne corner that Michel Dudignon just went through. They start to brake. That is obviously a little bit down to their very, very poor brakes from back in the Formula 1 days. Looks quite sturdy here through these fast kinks. Ryan, It's all gonna be down now to this third sector. How you reckon the Lotus 49 cars through these final twists and turns?
Yeah, the Lotus 49 car, from my practice that I've done with the car offline, the final few corners of this car, if you've got to be, from I find anyway, you've got to be really smooth with it. If you start overdriving the car or pushing too much through the final sector, especially through the Porsche curves, this car can bite you, and you can end up losing too much time, or even worse, you can end up losing the car and crashing into the wall.
And let's see how Olenik is gonna take this. He is just behind track-wise of Michel Tourignon, so these are gonna quick fire here for the pole right now. They're still first and third place. Roman Pawlowski has sneaked in there with a 27.007. So only Michel Tourignon remains the only car to be below a 3-minute 27 lap time. And Rob Olenik and Michel Tourignon have both very easily passed through the Porsche curves. Now going into the fourth chicane, both of them. They are gingerly on the brakes through those two kinks. Chicane Coremont now is where they are. Rob Olenik a little bit sideways, and Michel Tourignon is actually also going to come across with Rob Olenik 26.418 to his name. Beats Michel Tourignon out by 2/10 for this first place. Roman Pawlowski slow on his second lap, so he's not going to improve from the 3:27.007. So he's going to stay in third place. Mick Ledge with the first lap that did count. Only his second lap did count for him. A 3:27.257 puts him into fourth place. Daniel Sarthe right now, your fifth place driver with a 3:28.7 to his name. As Andrew Eng is not gonna put in his qualifying time, as the time is over for today in the qualifying. Thus, Rob Olenik is confirmed as your pole sitter here today, ahead of Michel Tourignon on his right side. Roman Pawlowski, third place alongside Mick Clarge. So once again, the top four dogs in this series are in the first two rows. Daniel Sarthe, fifth place to him, alongside Marco Kika in the third row. Billy Bob Wright, he is 7th place alongside Bruce Nelson and Tony Rees 9th place, and Matt Yeomans rounds out your top 10 as the Patrouille France goes over the start finish line. The next 10 on your list are Chris Murakami ahead of Andres Bruno, Colin Coker in 13th place, Dave Coe in 14th, Rodney Evans 15th, Marco Ravioli in 16th place. He's also the last car to put in a qualifying time ahead of Jan Hoffman in 17th place. Osmar Schultz in 18th. Don Good has not done very good in qualifying as he's only 19th. Andrew Eng goes on 20th. Paul Ferrer takes 21st place on the grid alongside John McNamara. He's also the first car to start in the last chicane. Trent Buss in 23rd, Robert Reynolds in 24th, and Chesapeake Beach makes a return to this series. She starts from 25th. The last few moments before these cars are revving up and going out, we still miss one car that is now joined. It was Rodney Evans, so these guys are gonna be going green any moments as the cars harmonize in revs, and off they go. It's a good start for Michel Tourignon. Can he already challenge for first place? Yes, he can, but here also comes Mick Clash with a wonderful start. Rob Olenik is gonna lose out here one position at least as Mick Clash lifts here to go in third place. Daniel Sarthe also up to fourth place. Sorry, he's still defending fourth place, obviously. No, wait, Roman Pawlowski lost one position there, as there's also a side-by-side happening between Marco Kika and Antonio Rees in the back.
Yep, just looking throughout the field as well, and it looks like everyone so far, Stefan, has managed to make it through turn one unscathed, and yeah, no issues so far on the first lap to report.
Didn't really see it there as the camera switched a little bit too fast, but Marco Kika with a terrible mistake through the downhill and he has already dropped a wonderful a swing of positions, not a wonderful position, but a swing of positions he has dropped. He's still losing time. I think he has got a slowdown because he is dropping back and back and back. I think he's already dropped out of the top 20 of this field. As we have a near 3-wide situation at the front, Mikkelaj goes now into first place ahead of Michel Tedegnan, but Rob Olenek comes in a draft of Mikkelaj. He takes Michel Tedegnan. Can he also take Mikkelaj? He has the drive, but has to slot in behind it. Here comes Daniel Sadro. Oh, that's Roman Pawlowski. My bad. Roman Pawlowski takes 4 cars to go into first place from 5th. That's how you do it in the draft. But now Mikkelaj in the draft. Can he do it over the Mulsanne hump? He goes to the right side. Has to brake on the inside for Mulsanne Cone. That's not going to work very well for him. Has to slot in behind in second place. So Roman Pawlowski leads out of Mulsanne Cone. I have Mikkelaj, Rob Olenek, and Michel Tedegnan. Your top 4 drivers right now.
Yep, I think judging by the long straight, Stefan, I think this could be going on for most of the race. There's I'm not sure how many cars are in line, but there's a huge slipstream battle going on at the moment as someone's making a move into Indianapolis.
Yeah, that was Mikkelaj going into first place. Sadly, Mulsanne straight is not long enough to provide as many overtakes as the straight is, so only Mikkelaj goes past Roman Pawlowski into first place. Also, Roman with a little bit of a mistake there through Arnage as he drops a little bit back from Mikkelaj, but I don't think Rob Olenek will do anything into the Porsche corner.
Yep, as they come up to the Porsche curbs, I think they can't really make a move on the entry to the Porsche curves or all the way through the Porsche curves for that matter. I think it's just going to be a matter of just staying in line for most of it until they get back to the home straight and also the long Mulsanne straight. So yeah, it looks like everyone's made it through on lap 1 so far without any issues, and I think that's a good thing. It just proves why the Lotus 49 is such a good series with regards to the driving standards, Stefan.
Actually, it does seem like that Don Good and Andres Bruno had a little bit of coming together, as Don Good has now dropped out of the race. Must have happened already a little bit earlier, probably in the start sequence of turns between those two. Also, Marco Kika, he is on the rise back. He is up to 15th place after dropping pretty much nearly out of the top 20. And as you said, Ryan, I think the permanent circuit part of this layout is really what will hold these guys together or stretch them apart, because you can't win the race here, but you most definitely can lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking back up at the front as well. It's still Clara's in the lead, closely followed by Angelica in second and Robin third. So yeah, as they come back onto the Mulsanne straight, and I think we could be on for part 2 of this draft battle. So yeah, these cars up at the front are still closely bunched together, and just watch out for the slipstream taking effect.
Yeah, just kind of wondering how much Daniel Sadro can keep up with these top 4 dogs. Last round he was, I think, 20 seconds back on them at Silverstone, but here comes Roman Pawlowski. Now also Rob Olenek, but he is getting a little bit hold up there because Roman Pawlowski closed the door in front of him. So that momentum has gone for him. Now comes Mikkelaj. He can't go past. He could technically go on the left side, but he doesn't want to. Michel Tedegnan joins in for a 2x2. And here now also comes Daniel Sadro, but he stays behind, gets a lift on the throttle. Now Rob Olenek is past Michel Tedegnan, now also has the door open to go past Roman Pawlowski. Mikkelaj looks at this with a popcorn in his hand and thinks, I'm going to stay out of this altogether.
Yeah, I was watching that battle down the straight, Stefan. They were just about going 3 wide or even 4 wide, and it was just, I think 1 or 2 cars in that pack had to go a little bit offline onto the side of the track a little bit, but this is absolutely fantastic stuff, and yeah, I'm so glad to be commentator on this series today. This is awesome racing so far.
This 2x2 situation has also brought back in Daniel Sadro and Billy Bob Wright, so we now have a 6-car train for the lead, and then we have a 4-car train in behind for 6th. place. Sorry, 7th place, obviously. If there are 6 cars ahead, it's the 7th car that leads the second train. Into Indianapolis corner, nothing really changed there. It's still Robolnik ahead of Michel Turdignon, Roman Kozlowski. Right now, your 3rd place driver ahead of Nick Clegg, Daniel Sarthe, and Billy Bob Wright brings up the rear of the 6-car train for the lead.
Yeah, I'm looking back through the pack as well, and I'm looking at this battle between involving Chris Markami, Antonio Rees, Bruce Snelson, and Jan Hoffman.
Daniel Sarthe has starting to get a little bit of connection problems there. Antonio Rees now leads that pack, as he said, ahead of Chris Murakami. Murakami, if you're not new on the GSRC broadcast, you probably also know about Weekend Warriors, where he is one of the all-time greats in that series. Chris Murakami always brings a lot of excitement to the track and hopes to do that also here, as also Marco Kika seems to have had a problem in this race, as he now also retired the car.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for him, but back up at the front with these guys. They're still close together, and this battle is going on for quite some time. So yeah, I think this will probably go down right down to the last lap, Stefan. But Rob is eking out a little bit of a gap.
Question obviously also is for these top guys: have they packed enough fuel to run this race all alone, or have they dropped that fuel load ever so slightly to be a little bit faster down the straights and bank on that draft that they are most definitely going to get right here, as Michel Turdignon now packs up. He's already about 15 kilometers an hour faster than Robolnik. 322 versus 337 for Michel Turdignon. Look at how much he's gaining on that first place car. There he goes side by side now. And obviously, as you can see, the permanent circuit part has most definitely stretched them out a little bit. So drafting is going to be very vital for these back guys to catch up. Daniel Sarthe actually has already lost the draft up to Mick Clegg. So once again, it's just those top 4 dogs to do what they can do best, and that is most definitely run away, as Rob Olenek got the draft back, overtook Michel Turdignon for the first place. And once again, we have a 2-part situation with also Roman Kozlowski that gets overtaken by Mick Clegg. Clegg thinks about going side by side with Olenek, but thinks better of.
Absolutely, and I have to say as well, Stefan, these guys are racing each other hard, but they're giving respect at the same time, and it's great to watch. And these 4 battling away. They also have to keep a lookout for these 2 other cars behind them, and in case they close up. So these guys are not pulling away, and if they keep scrapping amongst themselves, we could be on for even a 5 or 6 car battle for the lead.
Yeah, as we just had a very short diamond formation there, with Michel Turdignon ahead and Mick Clegg and Rob Olenek being side by side. Mick Clegg with a little bit of a problem through the Indianapolis kink, which is a very big trouble zone in this car around this circuit, because you really have to brake for that kink before the Indianapolis corner. Now Mick Clegg attacking Michel Turdignon. The first time we see someone try to do something in that short little straight before the Porsche corners. Let's see if Mick Clegg can hold the inside here through the Porsche corner. Yes, he can. A little bit of a touch there between Michel Turdignon and Mick Clegg, which leaves the door open for Mick Clegg to go through. Has to be careful not to hit that safer barrier. He does not. Michel Turdignon with a little bit of a slide there through the second turn of the bridge corners. So with that, Michel Turdignon now in second place behind Mick Clegg. Philip right in the background. Big slide for him, saves it, but that's him most definitely dropped out of that train. And now a little bit in no man's land. Let's see if he can catch up once again, come up to Indianapolis corner.
Yeah, I'm just watching the replay of Billy Bob Wright, and he just got sideways. He just got sideways on the entry of the Corvette corner.
There we're gonna see it now on the GSRC replay. Just comes out of the Corvette chicane and is gonna get the tank snapper. We're a little bit too far ahead there on that replay. It's also now Michel Turdignon with a problem through the download chicane. nearly gets under pressure from Rob Olenek, but also he decides better with that. There we now have going to be the incident with Billy Wright. We're now... Or not, we're gonna come back to life. Seems like we didn't find it there. But as we have reported, just a big slide with some consequences on his speed, dropping him all the way back now to... Actually, yeah, 2.5 seconds from Daniel Sarthe, who has caught up back to the back end of this 5-car group with him. As ahead of him, nothing new. Michel Tourigny goes past in the draft for McLeod. Here comes now Rob Olenek. Roman Pawlowski makes it 3 wide for the lead. And he slides past a nice and safe McLeod, now in the draft of Roman Pawlowski. So he's going to take second place. Here comes Rob Olenek now with a little bit of a 2x2. McLeod on the inside now of Roman Pawlowski through the Mulsanne kink. That also leaves the door open for Michel Tourigny to go past into second place. Can he also take first place? He tries at least McLeod on the left side. They both have to break side by side as they now go into Mulsanne corner. Michel Tourigny takes away first place, but he breaks too late, and that's him nearly into the gravel. He can catch the car, but that's going to be a lot of momentum lost for him.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Michel just carried too much speed into the corner and just ended up running wide. And what that has done is allowed Mick Claridge back through into the lead. But he's not getting away from these guys. And yeah, I have to say, Stefan, this is it's all kicking off. As we head towards the end of the race, or halfway through the race, I should say.
Roman Pawlowski looking a little bit weak there on the brakes through the Indianapolis kink, and actually gets overtaken by Michel Tourigny around the right side through. Between that straight, that short little straight there between the Indianapolis kink and the Indianapolis corner. So Roman Pawlowski from second, he dropped down to third place, just ahead of Rob Olenek, and Daniel Sarthe still just sitting back, relaxing, looking at what he can do better than those 4 ahead of him.
Yeah, Daniel Sarthe is he's kind of he's not been doing anything. He's not trying to get involved. I think he's more than happy just to sit back here and watch these guys scrap amongst themselves and see if they have any issues. But yeah, Daniel Sarthe, a familiar name that they all recognise from the SRF Weekend Warriors League that also is broadcasted on the iRacing Esports Network. But yeah, very quick driver, Daniel, and he's always been super consistent.
A little bit of a sideways moment once again for Michel Tourigny. 2 in 2 corners. That's not gonna go well for him if he continues that streak, as they now head over the line for the 5th time, as they now have started the 5th lap. Michel Tourigny once again a little bit of a slide through Dunlop corner, gets a little bit wide through the Dunlop chicane, but no harm, no foul. He still stays in touch with your leader of Mick Claridge. As this battle is going on, we also have a hot battle in behind for 8th place, as that once was a battle for 7th place, but Antonio Rees since has begun to run away a little bit from Snelson and Chris Murakami, as they also have started to drop Jan Hoffmann in behind.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, these 2 guys, Snelson and Murakami, battling for P8 at the moment, and it's just looking throughout the field as well. And yeah, I can't really see any other battles apart from this one. And yeah, it looks like looking throughout the field, Stefan, it looks like they've started to spread out a little bit.
Yeah, you're saying it there, Ryan. This might look on paper like a very easy track, but you couldn't be more wrong than that, especially in a Lotus 49. It still is very easy to lose a lot of time as Chris Murakami tries to overtake right now Bruce Nelson. But it does seem so a little bit that Chris Murakami doesn't have a lot of top speed, as he once again has to fall in line with Bruce Nelson. Might also be a little bit a part of that he is in the draft range of Antonio Rees. As we now have once again a pass for the lead through Mulsanne corner. Michel Tourigny tried to do it on the brakes once again against Mick Claridge, but once again he goes too deep loses his footing out of the corner, goes sideways, and once again, Mick able to sneak by.
Yep, Mick using that slipstream to get back by Michelle, and but Michelle's got a run on him as they head down to Indianapolis. Surely Michelle's not going to try and go round the outside. If he pulls us off, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. Can he get the inside line? He does. Fantastic.
Mick! Michel Tonino gets a little bit loose ahead of him. Clouch, because of that, has to brake a little bit harder than expected. Goes loose himself. Roman Paslowski nearly runs into the back of him. That could have gone very wrong there in just a moment as Mick Clouch tries to go around the outside into Porsche corners. That's not gonna work for him. He has to slow down, but Michel Tonino gets a little bit spooked by that. Brakes too late, and the trick has worked for Mick Clouch, and somehow he pulls the first place out of that.
Yeah, it's all kicking off now. Yeah, that move by Michelle into Indianapolis on the outside was absolutely awesome, and then Mick just decided that nope, you're not getting away from me that easy, and managed to spook Michelle into the Porsche curves and retake the lead.
In behind that battle for 8th place is now a battle for 7th place, as they have reeled in Antonio Rees, but also have been caught by Jan Hoffmann, so that 7th place battle is now a 4-car train.
Yep, there's a excuse me, back up at the front of these guys. It looks like it's still a 1, 2, 3, 4-car battle, as you say, Stefan, and it's amazing how much these guys are still close together for most of this race. But yeah, it's just proof that the launch straights at LeMans, if you stay in the slipstream of someone in front of you, you can keep up with them and possibly make a move, as we've seen several times in this race so far.
Up ahead, we don't need to go that, but Michel Tonino continues his streak of mistakes as he over Ted Rouge went on the grass, as we also have problems for Bruce Nelson as he dropped there a little bit from 8th place all the way down to 10th place. Let's have a look what exactly happened to Bruce there through, I presume, was a Dunlop chicane. Seems like he had a slowdown there. Not sure about that. Either had a slowdown or just decided to let those two pass. But yeah, that dropped him quite a ways back in 10th place, as Hoffmann now overtakes Chris Markami pretty much with ease. And one thing we can tell you is that I'm pretty sure that they're starting to catch Billy Bob Wright. It's 13 seconds between those, but since Billy Bob Wright had his mistake, he wasn't able to regain the draft of the top 5 guys. And he very much is in a no man's land right now. 7.5 seconds up front. He is behind, and as said, 13 seconds in front of 7th place battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Billy Bob Wright, after he made that mistake, he might have just been rattled a little bit and just lost his focus as well. So yeah, as you say, Stefan, he's in a bit of a no man's land. So I guess for the rest of the race, it'll just be a case for him anyway, just getting it to the finish, unless people in front of him, close to the front, start having issues with a couple of laps to go. So yeah, it might be worth keeping an eye on the front to see if anything kicks off towards the end.
Well, it's still kicking off as Rob Olenek trying to overtake Michel Dudignon through Indianapolis corner. It didn't work there, but it works through Arnage as he had the inside for that. Also a little bit of a mistake out of the corner from Michel Dudignon. Sealed the pass for him. So Michel Dudignon down to 3rd place and Rob Olenek up to 2nd place. And Michel Dudignon, you have to work on your mistakes because they're getting too much and it's costing you time, as once again he goes too deep into Porsche corner and loses back that position to Rob Olenek.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Michel at the moment. He's making some. I'm just watching his onboard as well. He's just making some little mistakes. Every time I watch him on the entry to the Porsche curves, he just keeps missing the entry of the corner by miles. And I don't know if it's he's carrying too much speed or if he's struggling with the setup, but he just seems a little bit rattled at the moment. And I think also watching Daniel Sadro as well. He's still just sitting there being a spectator, and just he's more than happy to be there at the moment. But if I was Daniel, maybe with 2 or 3 laps remaining, I would start making moves.
And if you're wondering right now, why are we talking so much about Michel Dudignon having so many mistakes? Well, it's quite easy. I'm not sure if he actually is, but he is one of the most dominant forces the Lotus 49 scene has ever seen. Himself and Mick Cledge were pretty much the 2 dogs that dominated this series for pretty much the last 2 years, until the likes of Rob Olenek, Roman Pawlowski and Daniel Sarthe started to gain tracks on them. Especially now Michel Dudignon last season, he was also pretty much away from this series, took a little bit of a break, as he now is coming back into the series again and finds that those others didn't sleep while he was away.
Yep, as we look back up at the front in this 4-car battle, and still Mick in the lead with Rob in second, Michel in third, and Roman in the fifth and fourth. Rob makes a move and takes the lead.
Interestingly, Michel Dudignon didn't opt to follow those other 2 into the draft of Rob Olenek. He stayed on the left side, which means he's not going to be fighting with these guys right now for that lead, as we're, by the way, already into the 7th lap of this 10-lap race. 4 laps to go, and we are already gonna be crowning the winner of this race. But now here comes Michel Dudignon with a head of steam, goes 3 wide for the lead on the very far inside, and he makes the pass happen into Mulsanne corner. Can he stay on track this time? He looks a little bit too fast and once again goes sideways, has to correct with a lot of counter steering there, but he gets momentum out of the corner, and finally he can retake that lead.
Yeah, that was a great move by Michel. He managed to take the lead. He was a bit sideways on the exit of the corner, but it looks like Mick's coming back at him. And is Mick going to go round outside into Indianapolis? Oh, he's a bit wide.
Mick Cledge there, just not able to get down that traction. Obviously, Indianapolis corner, Indianapolis Kink, a very off-camber corner, whereas Indianapolis corner is a very banked corner. So, just not enough traction on the outside for Mick Cledge as they now head into the Porsche corners. Mick Cledge tries to go for the lead, but does decide better of it. We're gonna go down to the fight for 7th place. They're, by the way, not gonna catch Billy Bob Wright. They're about the same pace as Billy Bob Wright ahead of them. But the big news really is that they are dropping 3 seconds per lap to the top 4 guys. Sorry, top 5 guys, as Daniel Sarthe also is.
Yep, just looking at the battle for P7 as well, and this battle of it looks like Antonio Rees, Jan Hoffman. I can't remember the other cars with him as well, but it's just trying to keep up with everything. It's just hard work, but it's making this race exciting as well. But this Lotus 49 series I've watched in the past, and it's always been great racing, and today is no exception, especially around this awesome track that is LeMans.
Bruce Nelson still not able to really get back up to that battle for 7th place, as our top 5 guys once again have head through the Dunlop Bridge. So they now go through the Chicane Chapelle, up through the last chicane just before Tête Rouge. That is a right-hand corner. Michel Dudignon with a lot of problems for that hill to get down the power. So he's losing a little momentum into Tête Rouge, but that's not too much of a problem, as once again they head down the Unodier straight through the Unodier kink. And Mick Cledge most definitely is going to retake the lead for now, as he goes past Michel Dudignon any moment. As he goes now to the right side, goes past Michel Dudignon, back into the left. That gives Michel Dudignon the draft, as he now gains momentum, goes to the right of Mick Cledge. They're gonna trade back and forth, and now soon you're gonna see Roman Pawlowski enter the stage here of these 2 guys with a lot of head of steam there, about 15 kilometers an hour faster for him, even though Mick Cledge is in the draft. But he decides better after that as Mick goes to the right side once again, tries to retake that lead of Michel Tourignon through the Mulsanne King now. Still side by side as they now head up and over the Mulsanne hump for the 8th time this race. Mick still not able to clear Michel Tourignon as Michel Tourignon on the outside finally finds the traction he needs, or does he? As once again he goes wide for nearly the 8th time in this race, but this time once again he's able to hold that momentum on the outside and Mick not really able to pass him as of yet.
Yeah, I've been watching Michel into that corner for a few laps anyway, but I don't know what it is. He seems to be struggling under braking and getting the front of the car turned in as him and Mick go to Indianapolis. As Mick gets sideways, whoa, that was well held, Mick. Well done.
Yeah, Mick likes a loose car on the brake sometimes, and it seems like it does work for him here in France. As once again he goes loose as he was on the artificial turf with the reduced grip that iRacing brought in after this season's patch. He most definitely found it out just now. As that gives back the momentum to Michel Tourignon, Mick gives it a lift. So Michel Tourignon back in first place entering the Porsche corners. Tries to hold it on the apex, does so nicely. So he is gonna enter probably lap 9 as the leader unless he makes a mistake.
Absolutely. These guys up at the front are still close together, and I think we're just coming up to the line. We should, when we cross the line, we should have just under 2 laps to go. So it's if I was the person, for me, it should start making moves right now. Is Daniel Sadro back in P5 right behind these guys? So come on, Daniel, sorry, chop.
As these guys cross the start-finish line to start their penultimate lap of this motor race, we're gonna once again head back to 7th place. That's Chris Murakami, Bruce Nelson, Jan Hoffman, Antonio Rees. Still fighting for that 7th place. Bruce Nelson, as you can see, he is now back into that pack again. Already worked his way up to 8th place in this lap. So he most definitely tries to fight back and get that 7th place away from Chris Murakami, who gets a perfect launch out of the chicane Raccorement to give him right now a little bit of a lead heading up the Dunlop corner.
Yep, absolutely. It looks like Michel's managed to build a bit of a gap at the moment. The gap to Mick behind him is about 1.3 seconds possibly. So, but you know with LeMans and this long straight, that gap can rapidly go down. So as you see Michel trying to.
Oh, it's Nelson! Very loose there, cuts off Jan Hoffman. They barely didn't make contact. That drops them quite a ways back. The Chris Murakami, as we're gonna look at that replay once again as what happened to Bruce Nelson. Riding on board here with Hoffman. Let's see if they actually made contact or no. Woo-hoo-hoo! Very close between those two. I would say most definitely they did not make contact.
Yeah, that was super close to being contact, but luckily both of them managed to survive and keep going. So, back up. Yeah, it looks like we're back in the pack, looking at the battle for P7 possibly, and not just the battle going on at the front, Stefan, but a battle here for P7 in the mid pack. So fantastic racing.
2 by 2, they are heading down Unodia straight into Mulsanne King. As they're now getting into single line because a few of the guys are lifting. As also the front was quite stretched out there. Sorry, 2 by 2 rather. As they now all head into Indianapolis corner. We're looking here at the number 3 car of Mick Claridge, who's in 2nd place, still behind Michel Tourignon. 3rd place right now, Roman Pawlowski, ahead of Rob Olnick and Daniel Sandro in 5th place.
As just watching Michel at the front at the moment, he's leading this race, but he's not weaving, but he's moving around a little bit to try and break the toe to Mick behind him. As they come up as Mick tries to make a move into the Porsche curves, there's no way that's going to work.
Oh, that's a spin! That's a contact from Leclerc on Michel Tenigno. He makes him lose. Michel Tenigno was able to avoid the wall. He stacks everyone else up. Rob Olenek goes from third to first because of that. Roman Pawlowski third place now, and Michel Tenigno, even though he lost a lot of time with that spin, he caught it back up already. Now we're gonna see that once again. Ryan, talk us through it.
So yeah, it looks like, just looking at the replay, it looks like Mick gets a good run on Michel heading to the Porsche curves. They both head into the Porsche curves, and I think Mick just gets a bit more speed into the corner, and it catches him out, and unfortunately he ends up making contact with the rear of Michel's car. And yeah, it was lucky it didn't end up in disaster for Michel in the wall. So yeah, lucky to keep going there, Stefan.
Yeah, very lucky. And speaking about disaster, let's actually have a little bit of a look here at our did not finish list thus far. Obviously, Don Good and Marco Kika already in that list. Rodney Evans has joined them. John McNamara also 4 laps down already. We have Osmar Schultz, who is still racing 3 laps down, so he came back up. Paul Ferrer is also a DNF already. Andres Bruno still racing. Then also Marco Ravioli. He's sitting in pit lane, but I don't think he is gonna come back, as we're already on the last lap for these guys.
Yep, just looking at this battle for P11 as well between Colin Coker and Andrew N. And yep, these guys are just outside the top 10. Yeah, it's always good to see these guys further back in the pack getting some airtime as well, Stefan. So it just for me it makes it good to watch on the broadcast and on the series in general. So yeah, it's good to see battles like this happening. As back to the leaders we go.
Yeah, we have to say a little bit of sorry there to the rest of the field, because that battle pack for first place just has been so exciting. As now also Chris Murakami through the downhill chicanes. He made a mistake, dropped a ways back from that battle for 7th place, as we were nearly 3 wide there for the lead into Mosan King. Claridge tried to go around the inside there of Rob Olenek, but he had to stick back once again. Now he tries once again. Notice are the better of it, so they're only going to wide into Mulsanne corner as Roman Pawlowski loses it. That's a 3-car contact into Mulsanne corner. Seems like, oh, there's not a contact. Daniel Sadger spins out Michel Tenigno. He's on his head. He's done. This all kicked off because of the near 3 wide there into Mulsanne corner. Roman Pawlowski, you saw it there, lost his car a little bit, had to brake really heavily, which stacked up Mick and Michel Tenigno. And yeah, Daniel Sadger tried to avoid the slow Roman Pawlowski out of Mulsanne corner, right into the path of poor Michel Tenigno, and he goes on his head.
Yeah. As back up to the lead, we're looking at Rob Olenek at the moment, currently leading the race on the final lap as we head to the Porsche curves. He just needs to get through the Porsche curves and hold on to it, but close behind him is Mick Claridge, who is not giving up on possibly taking the win in this race, but the final lap, and I'll hand it over to you, Stefan.
Yeah, will it be Rob Olenik's first win of this season, or will it be the second win for Mick Claridge, as he most definitely is trying to get back up to Rob Olenek, but he's running out of straight and out of turns. Rob Olenek through the Corvette chicane. He comes for the very last time. Just one more braking zone to go into Ford chicane. He heads just ahead of Mick Claridge, who is trying to go fast into it. Too fast! He spins out, gives the victory to Rob Olenek here in round 3 at the Circuit de la Sarthe. So Mick Claridge has also slowed down to serve, which puts Roman Pawlowski into 3rd place, who overtook Daniel Sadger. He's going to go into 3rd place. Mick Claridge thus only takes home a 4th place finish. Billy Bob Wright is going to take home a 5th place, as it seems, as in behind it's between Rees and Hoffman, Ryan.
Yeah, just watching Rees and Hoffman come up to the final couple of corners. Rees just needs to get through these and hold on. Yeah, if you can get through these final couple of chicanes, he'll hold on for P7 as Hoffman tries to get a run, but Rees will hold on to P7 at the line.
Yep. In behind, we have another battle that is between Colin Coker and Andrew Eng for 10th place, with Michel Dillon not able to finish. So let's see who gets the final spot in the top 10 here today in France. And Andrew Eng gets it all wrong into the Ford chicane. He nearly runs into the back of Colin Coker, is able to avoid him, but that means Colin Coker is going to take home a 10th place here in Le Mans. With that, though, we're also going to take it home very quickly. That means we're going to go quickly into the advertisements here. So don't step away too far, as GSRC will be back just after these messages. Welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show, streaming onto your home on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. And your winner today here in France is no less than Rob Olnick, his first win of the season in the third week only here in the Grand Prix Legends series, ahead of Roman Pawlowski, who ekes out a second place finish ahead of Daniel Sandro, a last step podium for him, ahead of Mick Claridge, who had to serve a very long slowdown at the very end. Billy Bob Wright, 5th place goes to him. A very quiet race all day long, but it sure enough did help him quite a lot there. Antonio Rees, 6th place for him. He was trying to fight that off all race long against Jan Hoffman, who got a 7th place from 17th, getting him 10 positions in this race. Bruce Nelson, he was also fighting in that battle pack, and Chris Murakami, only a 9th place for him. He might be a little bit disappointed after having a shot at 6th place. Matt Yeomans rounds out your top 10 of this race.
And rounding out the rest of the results is 11th place Colin Coker, 12th place was Andrew N, 13th was Dave Cohen, 14th was Trent Busey, 15th was Yasmin Beats, 16th was Robert Reynolds, 17th was Michel Dodion, 18th was Andres Bruno, 19th was Osmar Schultz, and rounding out the top 20 was Marco Ravioli. Oscar Schultz, sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, and then that's already your first car. Actually, never mind. Osmar was the last car to finish. Marco Ravioli was one of the cars that did already rag out. Paul Ferrer, another car that didn't finish. John McNamara, Rodney Evans, Marco Kika, and Don Good are all didn't finish. Now we are happy to talk to today's winner, Rob Olenek. Rob, how it's hard to say. How were you able to keep calm throughout these 10 races or 10 laps, knowing that all is down to that very last lap?
It's tough, actually. With four guys, when I was in fourth, I was trying to figure out how I would get by if I was in fourth, and it was not easy. If they were going too wide, you'd have to take a pretty big risk to get through. And they were Mick and Michelle were battling pretty hard at points, and I was like, "What are they doing? Like, maybe something will happen." But and I did some experimenting. I've never had any luck with these draft tracks, LeMans. It's like and my pace I think is perfectly fine there this week, all by myself. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I think today I got lucky. I finally just got one because other guys made a mistake. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do in the end. I was hoping, but the guys don't have to leave you the room. And, I don't know. I was hoping to maybe be in third. And I thought if I was coming in third on the last lap that I'd have a really good shot. But it really didn't even have to happen that way.
Yeah, you're saying it, Rob. I mean, you still have to be there. It's one thing to race with them. It's another thing to be there when they make the mistakes and capitalize on them. And that's exactly what you have done here today. Next week, though, we're going at the much different track. We're actually gonna head over to
I don't know where we are.
It's Spa actually. Sorry.
Oh, Spa.
There we go. It's also a draft track, sort of, but a lot more emphasis on those corners.
Oh yeah, Michelle's been dominant at Spa in the past. I love it. I love the track in this car. Even LeMans. I like LeMans. Sometimes it can get boring in some of the cars. In the 49, it's awesome, but Spa is just. I don't know. It's one of the great tracks in the world. It's amazing. Same with LeMans, but to me, I like it a lot, and I think Spa's well deserved for that recognition.
Well deserved. That is also exactly what you have here today. That win was very much deserved. Rob, congrats, and yeah, have fun celebrating this one.
Okay, see you later, guys.
That was Rob Olnick talking to us, and now it's Daniel Santer with Ryan Walker.
Yeah, I have to say, congratulations on the top 3 result, Daniel. I have to say, you were kind of just sitting there for most of the race. Yeah, it looked like you were just keeping an eye on what was happening in front of you, and more than happy just to sit there. It was unfortunate what happened towards the end of the race for you, Michelle. But how was the race from your point of view?
Yeah, it was pretty much as you described it. I'm not used to being at the front with these guys, and was more than happy, especially at the beginning of the race, to just kind of get a feel for how they were racing. Lost the slipstream about midway through and clawed it back. Fortunately, I think it was probably more because they were fighting than because I was fast. And then, it came down to that final lap, and yeah, just unfortunate. I tried to avoid Roman and didn't realize Michelle was there. Complete apology to Michelle. I feel bad about that, but yeah, I just didn't realize he was there when I moved over. So, but it was a good race, and probably really entertaining for you guys.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome to watch from where we were watching. Yeah, fun, good scrapping amongst you guys at the front. And yeah, what did you think of the track with the Lotus 49? Was it a good car and track combo?
I think so. It's actually it has that combination of of course the fast corners, the fast straights, and then you've got these fiddly the Mulsanne, you've got the you've got the Ford chicanes, you've got all those, you've got all those fiddly little corners, and it's tough to be good in both. And yeah, it's a fun track, a fun combination for sure.
Good stuff. Yeah. Just before we let you go, Daniel, what do you think? What do you think heading into Spa? Do you think it'll be a good car and track combo, and do you think it'll be great racing like we've seen today?
Yeah, I think so. It's a fun car to run at Spa as well. In some cars you can take Eau Rouge flat out, and you definitely can't do it in this car. So it's a very different kind of race to what you sometimes see at Spa, and it's a good combination too, I think.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth, Daniel, and yeah, congratulations on your podium result.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That was Daniel Zander with Ryan Walker. Next up, it's Mick Kletch joining us in the booth. And Mick, all it really needed was just 2 corners for everything to unravel for you. Let's go to the first incident there with Michel Didignon. What happened there from your point of view?
Hi guys. What happened was, well, let me go to the start because it was such a weird race because of Christmas and everything. I've been away from the PC, so not had a race. Tried to race Thursday, missed it. Anyway, so the start of the race, I was just really happy that I was actually racing. It was like, oh yeah, all my mates are here. We're at Le Mans. It's going to be good. And I sort of didn't get out of that until about 7 laps in, and then I started thinking to myself, oh my god, I better start thinking of some sort of plan and how to beat these guys. And so you never want to be in front at the Mulsanne corner. You're just a sitting duck down the next straight, into Indianapolis and all around there. So that was my plan. Just let the guys pass, just stay with them. And as we were going down the straight there on the last lap, I came off the power too early, and I let Rob through as well. I really didn't want Rob to get through there. Then Michelle got through as well down the inside, and I thought, right, I'll brake really, really early, but less. I just don't want to mess up. And because I did that, Roman was really much later on the brakes there, and but he was braking really hard, compared to me. So I just never adjusted my foot, and I just misjudged all of that, So that's how I hit Roman, and then threw down into the Porsche curves. Michelle lost the rear a bit there, and I was so close to him, but I could have slowed more and not hit him. It was I just didn't want to get, didn't want to have any sort of gap between us, at all, going down there.
Well, at least that worked out for the both of you, as Michel didn't hit the wall and he was actually able to get back to you guys. Now, going forward, just 1 lap, pretty much just half a lap, we saw quite the trouble going into Mulsanne corner, and you once again right in the middle of that.
Yeah, that's that. Sorry, yeah, I got it mixed up. Yeah, that's like I was saying. That's when I came off the brakes and broke early. Yeah, and Roman was. He was so fast down the straight today. I couldn't believe it. We'd be trying to, ripping the guts out of the car, and then Roman would pass us like we're standing still. I don't know what he did with his setup down the straight, but yeah, you don't, like I said, you don't want to be first into Mulsanne corner. You want a good acceleration. That's what I did. I just geared my car up so I could accelerate out of Mulsanne. So it was tough getting out of Mulsanne, and getting into Mulsanne was tough. Michel kept missing his brake marker, sailing straight through. We was all like, but yeah, it was insane. It's just insane when 4 or 5, even Dan, down there on merit, even him up there with us. It's just great to have a real hard battle like that up the front. We was all battling. We wasn't messing around. We was going for it there.
Going for it, you were in a very deep. Now, Mick, before we let you go, any final words?
Yeah, just want to say thanks to all you guys. I'm pretty sure that was a pretty good show today for all the fans, all the people watching, and yeah, great to show off the car and what you can do down straights when you got no wings on.
Well, Mick, it was still a very great show, even though you didn't really finish where you probably planned to. Still, 4th place, very good finish for you, and it's gonna keep you in that championship hunt as well. So, Mick, until next time, next week at Spa-Francorchamps, we wish you the very best.
Cheers, Stefan. See you later, guys.
Mick Kletch, your 4th place finisher off today, and with that, we sadly have to once again finish up this broadcast. As always, though, GSRC would like to thank the iRacing Esports Network for having us on their talent lineup to bring you the greatest shows on iRacing into your home. Make sure to like and subscribe to their channel if you haven't done so yet. On top of that, we'd like to thank everyone on track today for a great show, and especially the Lotus 49 community for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen, you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to Chun Ladon, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at the Global SimRacing Channel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/Global SimRacing Channel, on Instagram at GSRC_ramp. All of the upcoming races for Outlaw Series are now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Ryan, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Rob Olenek took away the victory here in Le Mans. With that said, until next time, servus and sayonara! And as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.